not everybody out there is ready for love to come and find them. And you might say, Marina, what are you talking about? I'm ready. I know who I am, and I'm ready to share myself and fall in love and meet the person of my dreams. Okay, let's face it. Everybody wants to find that someone special, and everybody wants to share that magical journey and to find love and to find the person to honor and to respect. But the question is, are these people prepared for love? Do they even know why they're looking for love in the first place? Because love is not a joke. And it's not the kind of love that you think I am talking about. If you're wanting a love that is based on partnership, that is different to perhaps other typical types of love out there, what I can say is that it all entails a journey about self-discovery, about building character, and being aware of the type of person that you are. And it's definitely a road that is less traveled, but if you decide to take this journey, it's going to be worthwhile in the end. So, if you're looking for love, in my opinion, you need to be ready for love. Because if you're not ready in love, what's going to happen is that you might attract a person that might be not exactly what you're looking for, and you might get caught up in an endless vicious cycle of attracting wrong relationships. And the worst case scenario, you can get committed to that person and have an even harder time trying to build your life again once that relationship gets over. So my question to you is, what type of love relationship are you looking for? Did you ever think about that? Why you want to be in a relationship? Did you ever sit down to have an honest conversation with yourself? Did you take the time to look at your past relationships and what types of feelings do you have towards love? Do you understand the type of people that you attracted in your life? And do you know why you attracted those people? Were those people nice? Were they cruel? What types of partners were you attracting? What do you think about that? It's very, very important prior to getting into a love relationship that you need to learn your patterns and behaviors within a relationship, and that it's quite important. You must recognize the role that you placed on relationships, and you need to ground yourself in reality, and you have to use this awareness when stepping forward into the unknown. Because if you're dating and you're not understanding the patterns that you fall into, you're going to continue to make the same old choices and you're going to yield the same old results. So that's why it's very important to always be self-aware. Okay? And this time it can be different. And it's up to you, the choice that you make. Whether you're going to be open to this or whether you're going to be in your ego and taking the different route and not having the power to look within yourself. So you need to be elevating your space. And in this space, there is no more drama. There is no more victimhood, right? And that should be your new mantra. And you need to have the positive self-talk that you are not a victim of your circumstances anymore, that you're ready to take action for whatever is needed to end this battle of relationships. So, most importantly, first step is you need to get rid of all the fucking dirty laundry. And what I mean about dirty laundry, I mean about the exes. Those exes that are no longer serving you, right? You have to make the call, you have to make the final conversation, and you need to be willing to accept your part of the responsibility about how the relationship went. You need to be able to get the closure that you need. You need to honor the past relationships that you've been through. And what I need you to do is close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths and figuratively catapult them from your space. Open up your fucking eyes and just move forward. So before you can move onward to bigger and better fields, you need to be ready to take responsibility. You need to forgive those old people that hurt you. You forgive those old trespassers. You need to show compassion to yourself and even forgive yourself. And be ready to do some crazy, authentic work in order to forget prior mistakes. So your intention needs to be clear and you need to be solid in what you want. Now, what is very, very important also is that you need to be specific about what it is that you want in a partner. So you need to be specific, you need to be outrageous with what you want, and you need to be confident in your choices, right? So it might help you to write things that you're requiring from a partner. And why do I say that's important about sitting down and thinking about what it is that you want from a partner? And it's very important to take things quite seriously when you're thinking about a partner, because what happens is the things that you decide that you want from the partner, if a new person shows up in your life that may not have those qualities, then you will have an idea how not to proceed into that relationship. So a valuable tip that I'm going to give you is that you can write 5 things that are a life and death decision. So for example, for me, I would be looking for a partner that has a high emotional IQ. So they're good when it comes to communicating emotionally. I'm looking for somebody that is honest, right? That has integrity. And I'm also looking for a partner that understands, for example, issues that he has within himself and is able to own up to these things. So these are my main important things that I ask from a relationship. So any partner or prospective partner that I may meet out there that does not have these traits is a no-no for me. So I'm not going to invest my time and valuable energy into a person that is not going to be fulfilling that. And it's quite important about what it is that you want. Very, very important. What I advise for you, right, is that you need to be able to recognize some patterns of your family dynamics and see what was missing within there, right? And looks at the inner child and what that means for you. So you need to be looking for traits that are not based on the familiarity that you had with the caregiving patterns, i.e. your parents or your family. So if you're seeing stuff that your family has, you're usually attracted to partners that have similarities to the family dynamics that you were conditioned as a child. So if you're looking to manifest a relationship that's a true partner, right? You're gonna have to forget about the rest of the bullshit. For example, shallow things. So you might be requesting somebody that's got abs, I don't know, chiseled jaws or all that crazy stuff. right? And I would be more opted to go for a person that has much more emotional depth, that is quite intelligent on that part. Because at the end of the day, you can attract a person that is with rock hard abs, but perhaps their mind is not so good. And in the end, it's going to take you a couple of years to realize that all you were looking for is on the shallow end. And that's going to leave you disappointed and heartbroken in the end. So my advice would be to first get to meet a person and see all the good traits that they can give you and what it is that you're lacking, and try to be as deep as you can when wanting to attract a specific relationship. Now, I also need you to understand that you need to also be ready to put yourself out there as much as possible, whether that will be physically or virtually, right? And there's different ways that you can get to meet people. I'm not going to go into that. Of course, you need to be going out. But you need to be open to everyone's energy. You need to be generous and you need to be giving. And this is a true unspoken invitation for love. There are some people out there nowadays that may meet their new person online from the comfort of their own pajamas in their humble home, you know, but you can try online dating if you'd like. Dating is not that easy, but whatever the case, have fun and meet new people, because you never know, right? And another thing that's very important is that you always need to be patient, you need to be authentic, and you need to be fearless, because all the great things come to those who wait and are not desperate for it. And the most challenging part will be that silence from time to time. And it might be easy to become bitter and hopeless, but remember, you're not running a marathon. So you always need to be keeping your hope alive of every minute. And when that hope starts to fade, you need to always remember that there is a person out there for you, and with timing, it shall come. Remember, you have to be in a good space. Do you enjoy being alone? You have to get used to loving being single, because if you're not happy single, you're not going to be happy within a relationship. Because if you're feeling insecurity, you are going to attract a person that is going to mirror all the insecurity that you're feeling, and it's not going to end up nice. So you're going to be wasting your time. So my advice would be to remain single, and during your singlehood, you should spend quality time on yourself by being alone, and to learn that it's not a bad thing, because it's so beautiful to be single. There are multiple self-help books out there that you can learn about relationships, and I highly recommend. And if you're not taking the time to invest in self-development, that will be the biggest mistake of your life. Because we don't know everything, and there's always new things that you can learn about yourself. You can understand why you are failing in relationships. You can understand the ways that you're behaving, where that stems from, right? And once you start to understand what you are about, that would be the biggest investment that you would have ever done for yourself. And as I said before, you're also going to know how blame does not sit anymore with you. You're going to come from an understanding that all the teachers that came into your life, including that horrible ex of yours, right? And you can get to know a lot of things about yourself and why you entered those relationship dynamics. And by sitting down alone and reflecting on those past relationships, you can find ways to change and alter your direction to have different results. And you can get to see the wrongdoings that you did in the past, so you make sure that you don't make the same mistakes. Because if you're in a relationship and it just ends and you're not questioning why that relationship ended and what lesson was learned, you are not really doing anything. You're just getting in and out of relationships. So invest in things that will let you know how to become a better partner. So there are no excuses, because even if you cannot afford it, there are thousands of sources online on how to become a better partner and how to learn about yourself. There's no excuses. So if you're constantly complaining that you don't have great relationships, then I'm here to call you out that you are to blame, because you're not taking the necessary time to invest in yourself. So you're expecting a great relationship to come into your life without even having a clue what it takes to be in a relationship. And that can cost you your future. And it costed a lot of people's future, because a lot of people went blindly into relationships. They never thought for a second about what it is that they were wanting in a relationship. And then they get married and they fall into the trap, and they understand the illusion that their brains got into, and then they're stuck. And then they keep on complaining and they don't do anything about it to change the situation, to make it better. All people do manage is just to complain about the other person. No one takes accountability for themselves. Everyone is a constant nagger all the time, just because they do not know themselves. People don't know what their real strengths are. People don't know what their weaknesses are. People don't know who they are, right? And you really don't know who you are. And you might be thinking that I'm silly about saying that. But around 15 years ago, when I was on my path of self-development, there was a lady that I crossed my paths, and she did a reading. I remember I was back in, anyway, regardless. But anyway, she told me, you don't know who you are. And then I looked at my friends and I said, what the fuck is that bitch talking about? I don't know. Of course I used to tell her. Of course I know who I am. Who are you to tell me that I don't know who I am? Right? And after years, I recognized that, and I remembered that lady, right? Because it triggered me. It triggered me at the time. But then as the years went by, I understood that, fuck yeah, she was right. I did not know who I was. Because at that time, I was not able to look within my inner child and my own flaws and my shadow stuff. But regardless, I went through that phase thinking that I knew everything about myself, being arrogant, thinking I'm a know-it-all, right? So my journey and my knowledge and my investment in myself helped me accept who I am, and it gave me a chance to make changes to become a better version of myself. And trust me, year by year, I am always learning something new about myself. So, you also need to be passionate about something, right? Find in something that you love doing. Take the focus out of a relationship, right? Find what it is that you love doing and go after that. Take on a new hobby, right? Don't focus on waiting for the person to come and make you happy. That's never going to have a good outcome. Another thing that's very, very important while you're single is to start to learn to be a much more vulnerable person. Because if you're not learning how to be vulnerable in your everyday life, be sure that the partner that you're going to attract, if you haven't worked with your vulnerability, they won't be vulnerable either, and it's going to end up in a mess, right? If you're not ready to accept that. So that being vulnerable also has to do about knowing who you are as a person and remembering your inner child, or how you were before you were conditioned in the world that you are now, right? There's a lot of people out there that struggle with vulnerability, right? And whatever you are struggling with is a chance, and it's a chance for you to work on that. So anything that makes you fear is something that it should be done, and go after what it is that you fear, right? Because if you don't have the tools to be vulnerable, everybody has the tools, of course, but if you cannot be vulnerable, do not expect to have a great intimate connection with a partner. You're always going to be left in the back burner, and you're always going to be wanting more from relationships. So that's why it's so important while you're single is to take the time to know yourself and invest in personal development. I highly, highly, highly recommend it, right? Because if you're not able to give vulnerability, you are not opened up as a person, right? There's stuff that you don't know about yourself, because your ego might be up your ass. Sorry about that, but I had to say that. You might think you know everything, right? But you must also understand that if you're not able to be vulnerable, right? That's your guard. Your guards are up. If you don't have the power to be vulnerable, you cannot have a relationship that's gonna be one that is set for the best of success for your future. And you might be thinking, what is she talking about? I can assure you, right? I can assure you that if you don't work on your flaws, on your ego, on your selfish nature, the future might not be so bright. So you need to rethink what it is you want from life. A lot of people out there are quite shallow. They might be, how should I say it? Not everybody out there wants to have a successful future. Some people might think that they want to have a successful future, but nobody's doing anything about it. People are just sitting there and just waiting for all the great things to come to them, right? And you might be thinking that you're worthy of the best relationship out there. But my question to you is, are you really worth it? What's so special about you? What is so special about you? And why should the best come to you? Have you worked on yourself in order to deserve the best? Or do you feel that people have to give you stuff? What do you give? What do you give? What type of a person are you? Look at your shit side, your flaws, because you're the only one that can understand the flaws that you have, because you're very good at hiding that. So how far do you want to go? So how much depth would you like from another person? Because the person that you are with, or that you will be as a partnership, has aspects of you, because you are mirrors. So if you're looking for the most perfect relationship, perfect does not exist, right? But if you're looking for a great relationship, you need to make sure that you possess all those qualities that it is that you're looking for in another partner. And you should stop expecting it from other people, right? So if you're looking for a rich person, you have to make sure that you're rich yourself. You might attract a person that is rich, right? But again, with due time, if you have not worked on personal development, you're still going to be miserable. Yeah, hate me for that. You need to be able to feel complete without a partner in your life. And you need to get over it right now, because a partner isn't going to complete you. And if you're expecting that, you are never truly ever going to understand what love is all about, right? So first of all, find what your interests are, make new friends, build your career, right? Present yourself whole before you ever chase any type of love. Don't run looking for love. Love always comes to you when it's supposed to. And it's so great to be single. It's amazing to be single because there's so many things you can do with your singlehood. It's amazing. It's amazing. And it's kind of like it's a chance for you before getting into an endless cycle. Because there you can build yourself. You can really, really build yourself and have a strong relationship with yourself, right? And another thing I want to say, you need to be ready that at some point, right, you might hurt like hell. You might be feeling that you can't go on, right? But you need to understand that heartbreaks are part of life and they're there to teach you things. And just as there is pain, there is also not experiencing pain. So we need both. We need both sides. We need the bad in order to experience the good. So stop judging everything that's happening and start looking at it in a different way on why it came into your life and what it has taught you and what you can do not to repeat that same cycle again, right? And you get to appreciate yourself and other people along the way. And remember, at some point, relationships that you had, you loved the other person, and you need to understand your selfish nature about why is it after they stopped giving you what you wanted, you stopped loving. So from that perspective, you can understand that you are selfish in nature, right? Because you made an illusion of that person, and then that illusion got shattered. It was your creation. You brought that about into your space. So, another thing I want to say, accept the responsibility for yourself. Stop bitching about your ex, right? And stop thinking that you are a perfect angel in your relationships, because I'm sure you are not. I'm sure you've got a lot of flaws that you might not be admitting to people. So be ready to be vulnerable, as I said, right? And be responsible, accept that responsibility for yourself and the actions that came about your life. And be always admit how you screwed up, right? Because love for the future takes honesty and, of course, responsibility. So it's great to start preparing for that. And be willing, while you're single, to be helping other people. Because it's easy to get selfish when someone loves you and wants to take care of you, right? And it's also a great way to turn that person bitter and make them leave. You need to learn, when it comes to relationships, how to give without getting anything in return by volunteering to help other people. Because I'm here to tell you that life is not always about you. It's not centered around you, right? The type of person that I am, I love how it feels to help out people. That brings me joy. So try to find something that you can give to another person, right, without expecting something for yourself. That is really important. And what else did I want to say? Try to have an open mind when it comes to relationships. Don't be set in characteristics that you're looking for a person. Try to be a bit more open to let something come in that is actually quite good for you, rather than requesting certain things like, oh, he or she has to have straight teeth, they have to have great hands. Or this is shallow type of thinking. It's not quite valuable, the stuff that you're asking. So based on the type of person that you are the things that you're requesting, right? And I'm sorry to say that, but you're gonna experience a lot of lessons until you understand that. And if you understand that, because that's not important, that is not important. And you're attracting people that you go by their looks, but you're not understanding why they're there, what they're trying to give you. You're really, really not understanding.